What do you do normally? Because in our off-camera conversations, you were talking about you like to stay in the sun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like conscious, but then also unconscious.
Yeah, my health philosophy is pretty simple. I eat once a day. I eat a lot of meat. I try and avoid processed sugar. I love the sun. I try and be in the sun as much as possible. I don't really wear sunscreen. If I feel like I'm in really crazy sun and I start to burn, then I may avoid it, but that very rarely happens to me. I don't really burn, so I'm quite lucky from that perspective. I drink a lot of water, about 10 liters of water a day. A lot of caffeine, at least 10 coffees a day, I believe are good for me. I also was big on smoking. I actually believed that nicotine was good for me, but I've had to stop for this fight. So I've taken a 3-month hiatus. And I guess that kind of ties into the conscious and unconscious, because I do also do a lot of things very consciously. I am quite consciously trying to repair my body a lot of the time. I believe that your body itself and your mind is a very complicated chemical factory. And if you need a chemical to get something done, I believe you can think yourself into getting that chemical. And a lot of people don't consider doing that. They get hurt or something hurts and they run straight to the doctor to take a pill. Whereas if you lay still in bed before you go to sleep and you consciously imagine, directing your chi or, trying to repair that part of your body, you'd be surprised how it actually seems to work. So of course, I have no scientific evidence for these things. It's just what I do. So I'm very conscious with certain things when it comes to like repairing myself and trying to make sure if something hurts, I think about how I imagine it getting better and it seems to get better.
Yes.
And I've always been quite good at that with the power of the mind. I used to smoke 10 cigars a day for 10 years and then I decided to fight. So I quit and it's been 3 months so far. And everyone told me quitting smoking was hard, but it turns out it's actually very easy. So
talk to us about your upbringing. What has built such a resilient brain?
I was raised in a military household. My father was in the Air Force and I was a chess champion when I was young. So even at a very young age, I had to sit at the board for many long hours and dedicate myself. And chess is a fantastic thing to learn when you're young because it teaches discipline and it teaches self-accountability, which is the most important lessons, I think, for life. If you lose, it's your fault. And to get better, you have to dedicate yourself. And also, after a game, you have to analyze it. You have to sit down and work out where it went right, where it went wrong. You have to self-analyze. And I think that's one of the things people don't often do enough in life is self-analyze and sit down and take 100% accountability for something that happened to them and see what they could have done to avoid it. People will get in a car crash and they'll say, I got in a car crash. It's not my fault. This guy came out of nowhere, which is true. Whereas I look at it differently. I got in a car crash. Okay, he came out of nowhere. Could I have seen him coming if I wasn't listening to the radio? Could I have seen him coming if I wasn't on my phone? Did I have to go out driving at 3 o'clock in the morning in the rain? Could I have avoided this? So I take absolute accountability for everything all the time. And I try and analyze everything from that perspective. And it allows you to make better decisions moving forward. And I think once you do that, it's very easy to avoid a lot of life's problems. You can actually avoid a lot of the problems people find themselves in by just thinking ahead and learning from mistakes and going from there.
So when you look at the world of biohacking and the whole big boom that's happening with high tech, as well as the ancient wisdom, the ancient methods, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so I think the traditional medicine destroyed its credibility during COVID. I've never been a big doctor guy. I've never been a person who went to the doctor hardly ever. Even when I was fighting many, many years ago, they'd say, who's your doctor's name? And I'm like, doctor, I don't know, whoever's nearby if something gets broken. But I've never been a big doctor guy. I've never taken painkillers. I've never been big on pills. I've never been, the people who say, I have a headache, I need a pill every 5 seconds. I've never been one of those kind of people. So I never really was big on the health industry as a whole, but I think the world was until COVID, where they showed that they're actually human and they're fallible and they're corruptible and they don't always have your best interests at heart. And if you're going to realize that the medical industry, like every other industry, is prone to corruption, just like the education industry and the judicial system and our elections and everything else, then you're going to have to take your matters into your own hands. And if you want something done properly, you're going to have to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to biohacking or trying to work out your health, a lot of it's going to make you sound a bit crazy, right? Because there's no scientific proof for these things. There's no scientific proof that I can think myself better.
Right.
But if something's aching or hurting, I think myself better. I don't have scientific proof for that. That's just what works for me. So there's a degree of trial and error involved. You have to take it very seriously and you have to try something and see how you feel and try and avoid the placebo effect and really consciously say, do I feel better from this? And then I guess the whole subject gets a little bit more complicated where certain things will work better for certain people than they do for others. But if you want something done properly, you should do it yourself, and your health is something that you should take absolutely seriously, and you should be very conscious of it, and you should be trying your very best to work out how you feel optimal as a person. I think that, if you pay enough attention, it's doable.
What about sleep? Are there mandatory sleep hours that you consciously or subconsciously shoot for?
Sleep's not something I'm great at, to be honest. I'm not a very good sleeper. I take sleep when I can get it, but I would say I sleep 6 hours, 7 hours a night. It's often broken up. I'm not a great sleeper. I don't have set hours or anything. However, if a day comes where I manage to stay in bed for 10 or 11 hours, I'll try and take it when I can get it. I know that sleep is very, very important, of course, and I probably could get better at it if I were to regiment my life around it a little bit more. But I'm not too big on sleep. And I think the reason for that is, for better or worse, this might be a disadvantage, I function great without it. I'm one of those people, I can go to sleep for 2 hours, have a bad night's sleep, go to bed at 4, get up at 6, and I'm fine. So it's like, well, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But it turns out when you're training for a fight, you do need it. So sometimes you have to force yourself to sleep. But I think also, we live in a world now where it's very difficult to have a quiet mind. We always have these permanent distractions, and it's hard to just lay in bed, even if you're not tired and you can't sleep. 10, 15 years ago, you just lay in bed and close your eyes and relax. But now your phone's going off, and that's lighting up, and there's money over here, problem over there, kid here, this there. So you're always distracted, and there's always something to do. And I think that's the reason people's sleep is so bad, is that we're being pulled in so many different directions all the time, and we have so much access to unlimited information and unlimited opportunity. There's always someone you can talk to 24 hours a day. It might be money at the end of the conversation. There's always something going on. So it is very difficult to sleep. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I take exercise so seriously, because if I struggle to sleep when I'm training, I think it'd be far worse if I wasn't training.
Sure.